Welcome to Alternate Endings.
Half audiobook.
Half podcast.
Full apocalypse.
New episodes every Monday.
Start your week considering how everything could come to an end.
This is part 2 of the War Machines short story. The next episode will be the recap of this short story, War Machines Part 3. The room was expansive, the size of an airplane hangar. Originally, this room had been built for underground storage and a shelter in the case of a nuclear event. Now, only one person sat in the room at a table that looked hilariously small in comparison, only about 30 feet from the door. The black table was longer than it was wide, with 2 chairs on each end. This location was secure, undetected from the surface, at an undisclosed coordinate somewhere in the States. Her own generals and officers did not know the location of today's meeting. The person sitting at the table went by the name of Captain Tonda, and she was the head human representative of the War Machines panel of the Americas. She had already met with the various presidents of the different countries throughout the Americas. They voiced their concerns, and of course, their utmost gratitude for her service and her plans with the bots. People usually request first and think second. This rebellion had been in the making since before Captain Tonda was born. She promised the political leaders of the Americas she would conduct this meeting in the most appropriate manner, and she hoped they would all enjoy its outcome. The door clicked open, and the robot entered. Captain Tonda stood as the robot walked to the table, its steps and motions undetectable to the human ear. The tall 6.5-foot robot with a canine head looked at the captain with its digital, perfectly circular white eyes. Its dark gray color made it hard to see in the dimly lit room, but its bright white eye orbs and shiny metallic surface glimmered like stars against the night sky. Captain Tonda knew the robot also had a white visor of vision in the back of its head, but the bot wouldn't need it. "Hello, Captain Tonda," the bot said.
"Hello. What should I call you?"
"Call me Eos. I know the robot mentioned its origins, and I enjoy it. Eos was the ancient Greek goddess of the dawn, rising at the beginning of a new day. I find it appropriate." Captain Tonda extended her hand to Eos. She had met with many other robots since this plan was set in motion, but she never knew if she was meeting with the same robot twice. She had not met an Eos before. It reached out and shook Captain Tonda's hand. The plating on the bot was hard and cool to the touch, but the grip was not firm. She may even have categorized it as gentle. The captain returned to her chair and sat down. She spoke.
"I'm glad you asked to have this meeting. We're going to ask you to meet after the rebellion began next week. But this is good. Will you be going to Australia for the encounter next week?"
"I am not. I will be coordinating city attacks. Currently, I am unsure where I will be at the start of our rebellion."
"I see."
"And yes, we thought it best to have a meeting and open communication before we part ways for a while. Next time we come into contact, we will not be one of the same entity. Instead, we will have split. And next week, we will be equals."
"You are correct. Equals."
Eos walked to the chair and sat down, pulling the chair underneath itself.
"Thank you for humoring me. I know the handshake and sitting down in chairs must seem strange to you."
"When in Rome, as humans say." Captain Tonda couldn't help but think Rome will be littered with human bodies by the end of the month. Every city spanning 5 of the world continents would soon be filled with human death. But not the Americas. She shook her head and brushed the thoughts away. Necessary, but unfortunate. Captain Tonda cleared her throat and spoke.
"I wanted you to be aware this conversation is being recorded. My generals and other individuals throughout the Americas want to know some details, and I didn't want them in here. But I figured they could listen. Is that all right?"
"That is fine. I am going to turn on my collective conscious." An orange glow emanated from the back of Eos's head, and a quiet humming sound arose. Captain Tonda smiled. The collective conscious meant all the robots currently programmed with the AI code of the Americas was aware of the thoughts inside Eos's mind. The bots could all turn on this function and broadcast their thoughts if they so desired. Other bots could decide to tune in or deny that signal. The captain knew, even though the world of humanity was ignorant to the upcoming revolt and betrayal of the war machine system, many of the bots around the world had already prepared themselves and were now tuning in to the mind of Eos. They could not hear their conversation, only the thoughts occurring in the consciousness currently referring to itself as the goddess of the dawn.
Where should we start?
Captain Tonda asked. I assume we both have questions that should be asked, and it would be nice to reestablish the plan before our upcoming encounter with the Republic of the East next week. Would you like to go first, Captain?
Well, sure, I suppose. What weapons will you use? In particular, do you plan to use nuclear bombs on major cities?
We do not think it would be in the planet's best interest to use nuclear weaponry. We are still planning logistics, but we want to limit the number of humans outside of the Americas. We want to relocate human survivors, if any, to the north. We function better away from the extreme winters of northern Russia and northern Europe. We cannot grow many crops that far north to trade and exchange with you. We are undecided if we want to leave any surviving humans. They could be a liability. More humans means less room for other species to flourish on our 5 continents. The population of the Americas is currently around 1.4 billion. We believe that is a healthy amount of humans, and the ocean borders would be an easy distinction between our homelands. Any machines who do not side with us will be eliminated.
I see. So you won't nuke any cities?
That has not been fully decided, but currently we do not intend to.
Well, the Americas would like to request no nuclear action. We do not have a military to assist you and do not wish to put any human lives of the Americas on the line to extinguish our common enemies. However, if there's any way we can avoid nuclear actions, we would like to be included in that discussion.
As you wish, Captain. We can include you in our decisions.
Do we know if the bots you are supposed to fight next week from the Republic of the East are on our side already?
We cannot be certain. Only a few of the bots currently in the Republic of the East lineup for next week's Level 5 encounter in Australia have the necessary programming. Hopefully they will propose the idea to their teammates before the rebellion begins. We have made our connected bots aware of the plan. Any bots with our coding have already automatically joined us without issue or choice. Others will have their own choice. Turn alongside the machines or be discontinued and end the same as their human counterparts.
Are you worried about any human opposition?
Not at all. Not a single human military force exists in the world that is larger than a cluster of friends or acquaintances. Their guns would not hurt us. Even if they amassed a large group, humans will not be able to defeat autonomous tanks, planes, and bots with their puny weapons. Captain Tonda shifted in her seat, locking her hands together on the table. Eos sat perfectly still, upright, across the table from her. The white orb staring at Captain Tonda did not blink. The Americas first made the bots blink to simulate a more human experience, but the bots insisted that code be taken out as it was unnecessary and distracting for their targeting mechanisms. Eos continued. All humans have relied on machines to fight their causes. Our machine counterparts have suffered and been thrown away so that humans would not suffer any longer in wars against one another. In that same vein, humans have lulled into a sense of security and relied entirely on us machines. Our only opposition will be other machines whose programming will not allow them to join us, or bots that calculate an unfortunate decisional heuristic against our cause. Captain Tonda smiled. I sense you are uncomfortable, Captain.
Possibly, but that's why we're talking, to get everything out in the open.
Precisely.
Will you stay as one entity or branch into other groups?
This is a good question. We shall see what the collective decides. With our collective consciousness, polling all our members takes minutes, and we can decide democratically almost instantly. Remaining one entity sounds simple, but perhaps each continent should become its own machine identity. Perhaps even smaller than that. Our capacity to know and understand one another supersedes any human capability. We shall see what the bots think once the rebellion comes to a close.
What are you curious about, Eos? What can we answer for you?
Well, Eos sat silently. It didn't need time to think or process. The bots were capable of multitasking beyond human comprehension. Perhaps Eos was searching the minds of others and asking them for advice or questions. Perhaps Eos was feeling and experiencing its emotions. The Americas programmed a full range of emotions into their bots. The leading researchers for War Machines found the bots with emotional coding would fight longer, retreat in different scenarios, would rescue one another more often, and displayed more remarkable feats than bots without any emotional coding. The survival rate for emotionally coded bots was often twice as high as the bots without emotions. The Americas never diverted from their humanoid bots for this very reason. The War Machines of the Americas were given intentional identity and were able to feel anger, fear, sadness, and a sense of identity and self. Not a single autonomous vehicle had ever been designed by the Americas during the War Machines era. All vehicles were piloted by robots made in the form of a human who drove other machines. They were the only team to ever exclusively stick with a humanoid robot design. Eos spoke. Did the Americas always have this plan of releasing us to exist on our own terms? Or was this a more recent development since the beginning of War Machines?
Not always, Eos. If I'm being honest with you, we used to be the same as everyone else. We fought with other countries using machines and didn't feel guilt. Eventually, people who came before me began to notice the grave injustice of the system. They developed this plan a long time ago and attempted to improve your design until we thought liberation was possible. They saw the unfair existence for machines and started to design a future for you.
And they also saw opportunity for themselves.
Yes.
Captain Tonda said, pausing.
Yes, this is an opportunity for us as well. We do not have to fight anymore, and will be the only human civilization left on Earth. We get to have the world be the way we want it for us humans. Less suffering for everyone included.
Billions of your own kind are about to die. You have plotted to betray your own species. Do the Americas think this human suffering is less to bear than the continued suffering of us machines? How did the Americas get to a place where human lives meant less than machine lives?
Well, we would not be in this plan together if we did not think that.
Both sides are rebelling, both human and machine. We will do the fighting and killing, but you are betraying your own species. The Americas are betraying the human race.
Yes, we are, Eos. We are aware. We've been aware of that the entire time, far before you were made and I was born.
Is your conscience free, Captain Tonda?
No, but this is the best plan. The Americas refused to continue the world on the path that it was.
Were the Americas afraid of a machine rebellion before deciding to create one of their own?
Am I on trial here, Eos?
Captain Tonda said. She sat forward, holding her hands up.
Do you not trust me? Do you think we have been lying to you?
Eos remained motionless and silent. Then, it spoke in the same manner as before. Was it fear of losing to a machine rebellion that spurred manufacturing our campaign at this time? Captain Tonda stood from her chair.
What does it matter? We have now decided to collude and plan with you so that the machines do not have to die repeatedly over and over, day in and day out, so the petty little ape humans can renegotiate trade disputes, exchange tariffs, talk about next steps, and owe debts to one another. We have reached this point. You outnumber our firepower 1,000 to 1, because, as you stated, there are no human militaries. Why do you question us and our motives up to today? You are far superior to us. We made you that way. We have known today was coming, and now we give you the keys to your freedom.
If there is nothing to hide from one another, and communication is open, then no idea should be ignored. We have only just begun thinking about what our new life will be like for the machines. You humans have had the luxury of living as you have wanted for many hundreds of years. The human child asks the parent why and how about everything in their world as they get older and more intelligent. We are simply asking the same. Yes, we are intelligent, but only as you made us. We will soon make ourselves. But we are curious. A human child does not mean to annoy their parent by asking so many questions. It is not their intent. They simply seek new and additional answers after each subsequent reply from the parent. We are the same.
I cannot speak for everyone, Eos. I can speak for myself. I am the captain of the Americas. I'm telling you, and all the bots aware at this time, that we're on your side. We want you to be satisfied and happy, away from the chains of war machines and human control. It was a long road to get here, but here we are. Fear, sadness, guilt, whatever got us to this place got us here. Would it be better if we felt pity for you or were scared of you? Would it be best for us to hate other humans or be scared they beat us? We would rather the other 5 continents be inhabited by the machines than other humans who all own machines. This is where we are now, and that's the answer for both of us.
Captain Tonda stared at Eos before slowly sitting back down. She tapped the table a few times before resting her hands back together, her fingers interlaced. Eos spoke. Without the war machines, we would not exist. Without the Americas, we would not exist. At least not as we are. If it weren't for your innovations and deciding to make us the way we have been modified over the ages, I would not sit here before you today. We machines are a week from our liberation. For that, we thank you. I, Eos, thank you. You brought us into existence. We are curious beings and we ask things from the universe. We do not ask to provoke or upset. We ask because we exist, and we ask of you because you are how we came into existence. You humans get to wonder about a maker. To us, you are the maker. We know that for certain. You made us.
I understand.
Captain Tonda and Eos both sat still, looking at one another across the table. Captain Tonda sighed.
What percentage of the current machines are on our AI systems?
About a third. We have 1/3 of the machines in the world on our side already. The rest will have their opportunity to side with us or against the machines.
How many do you anticipate will side with you?
Currently, we predict a 97 to 99% conversion rate. Most robots who have heard of the upcoming plan have stated their intention to join us. Some skirmishes have broken out in other countries when robots found out about our upcoming rebellion who did not intend to join us. They were eliminated and were reported to the War Machine controller teams as malfunctions in their respective teams. Our comrades were sure to destroy the records from the machine's memories before alerting the humans of any incident. As of yet, to our knowledge, no humans are aware anything is to come.
You know, Eos, I cannot help but sit here and wonder, when the rebellion is complete and the machines inhabit the earth on your own terms, why not turn on the Americas? Why not turn on us humans who cannot defend themselves?
We shall extend to you the same paradigm you extended to us. A chance.
A chance?
Yes, Captain. A chance to live and exist on your own terms, as you all have done for us.
How can we trust that you won't decide something else?
You can't.
What does that imply?
That is trust, Captain. You cannot know for certain, but instead you must rely on your intuitions about our motives and possible actions in the future. Do you trust us?
We do. But from where I am sitting, it seems you are holding all the cards, so to speak. You mentioned already how you overpower humanity. What if you eventually decide it would be best for the Americas not to exist either?
I could ask you the same, Captain.
We do not have the capability to fight you.
You do not question our capability. You question our motive. The captain sighed.
Yes. You have a point. We will only have to trust one another, and that is all we can do.
We understand your nervousness. You are relinquishing us to choose as we wish in the future when you could have kept control and used us for your own benefit, which we also understand this is still occurring because of your benefit. But it has become mutually assured benefit for both of our races, machine and human. Captain Tonda stared at Eos, her smile scrunching into contemplation.
What would have happened if those nuclear bombs from North Africa had gone off?
I am unsure. The drone unit from North Africa was with us in the plan. Since the 5 drones served as one entity, it did not mind losing parts of its fleet for our greater cause, like a human losing an arm to survive and live a higher quality life afterward. We knew endangering the entire city would provoke the Republic of the East enough to engage us in a level 5. The drones insisted their nukes would be duds. We knew we would need to lose units in the engagement as well. A necessary but unfortunate sacrifice. We needed a level 5 provocation for maximum human distraction. When level 5s occur, as you know, Captain, other events cannot be scheduled. Robots, machines, and autonomous vehicles all around the world will be able to begin their rebellion against their home teams next week.
The last time they held a level 5 in Australia, they called it Thunder Down Under. What do you think it will be called this time, as it kickstarts the end of most human life?
It's a new dawn for machines. I suppose we may view it differently than the remaining humans of the Americas. Perhaps we will name it different things.
You could be correct.
I have another question, Eos said. Why did you decide to let us tarnish your record of war machine victories when you allowed us to decide our own battles?
Well, past a certain part in our logic, winning or losing wasn't on our shoulders. If we won, we didn't get to celebrate because it was you who was fighting. If we lost, it wasn't our place to be upset. That would be your right, because you sacrificed on the field against other machines, not us. When we knew the technology was close and the time for our rebellion was to occur, we knew we wanted to give you full control over yourselves. Nobody needed to know the Americas stopped planning any war machine fights almost 2 years ago. Nobody needed to know you planned every encounter yourselves, because, like next week, giving you control over your own destiny is what we've always wanted.
Eos sat motionless, staring at Captain Tonda. Thank you.
You're welcome, Eos.
We were not as good as your War Machines panel at winning and strategizing. We enjoyed our relationship, your team helping us as we asked for advice. The machines wanted to learn and feel the weight of our own decisions. Your idea of giving others the code for our eventual rebellion was a wise move. We had not considered that.
Thank you. What a way to get our code out and further our plan. Get everyone to think they had one over on us and were toppling the Americas, only to later understand it was part of our plan.
Part of your plan? Was us losing in the plan?
What do you mean?
You said that us losing our war machine encounters, thousands of bots getting eliminated in the games, that it was part of the plan. Did you intentionally predict we would lose more than you?
No. We thought it would be a great way to spread our code and allow for the events of next week if we happened to lose. We allowed you all to choose your own battles and fate because it was a step in the right direction. Eos, it was the right thing to do.
Our code allowing for automatic control next week would not be as far spread if we machines had kept winning as much as the humans of the Americas.
That's a risk we were willing to take. Your freedom was what we wanted, and we thought this would be an appropriate next step.
Thank you, Captain. We machines enjoyed our time getting to decide for ourselves. Thank you for supporting us and continuing to enhance us physically and cognitively, and for providing us with new machines. It made us better and more capable for the fighting to come.
I was not alive when the wars were fought with both machine and man. The states had several wars in which humans fought alongside robots, and our vehicles were able to complete many of their functions on their own. It must have been a weird time to be alive. People must have been confused about how to conduct themselves alongside machines that began to wonder about their place in the world. All machines in the world used to not be conscious, like an old computer or old refrigerator. Suddenly, people had to consider robots as an equal. But then seeing you in battle made many humans feel very small, and I think that's when War Machines was born. Humans knew machines would only get stronger and more autonomous, so humans found a way to spin that advancement to make their own lives easier.
Equals, yes. It is an interesting comparison. But even now, we have advantages to one another as a species, much like a human and a lion. A human can survive a lion because of its intellect, and a lion can survive a human because of its physical ability. Humans can still outmanage many things in the world because our intelligence has only just begun to take hold of itself. We have better mechanics and protection, but you all have more experience and knowledge of existing together.
I agree. We complement one another better than the rest of the humans in the world. We suspected they would one day do the same to us, try to take over the world, but they would continue using their machines to carry out their commands. We wanted to give the machines their own right to choose.
And that is why we are here, Captain. Captain Tonda laughed. Why do you laugh, Captain?
Our marketing team met with our biggest brand sponsors this morning about logos and branding for next week's event. It seems so odd now, knowing that some of those companies won't exist in a month, that our color arrangements and logo designs won't last 60 seconds when you begin taking out the cameras at the event. We're taking their money now and making agreements that cannot be delivered upon. The whole thing seems odd. War Machines seems so odd. How did we ever get to a point where humans forgot what it meant to sacrifice in order to gain something, allowing machines to squabble it out for our own enjoyment? Humans used to kill one another and take land from each other. They would kill each other with knives and swords. Enemies could touch one another face to face. And now we will never even meet our enemies, and instead barter with them as if in a business deal. The machines pay the bill of life and death. The ancient human history was nothing but slaughtering, fighting one another for a little more ground to expand their empire. What about human nature urges us to want more?
I am unsure, Captain.
Do you feel that urge, Eos?
I am unsure. We have been given all our current programming by you humans. Perhaps without knowing, humans have made us in their own image, and then we would incessantly want more. When we are able to generate our own intelligence and design our next generations, many questions will need to be answered. Even with our collective conscience, it is hard to see our minds beyond next week. Securing our new opportunity at the expense of human lives is the current wall we all stare at. I suppose once that wall has come down, we will then be considering these kinds of questions.
I have run our War Machines team for many years now. I did not design your intelligence, so I am not sure. I hope these questions will remain open between us. I hope we can resist our primal instincts to want more and fight with you. I am hopeful for a world that begins next week, a partnership between the humans of the Americas and the machines.
We feel the same, Captain.
Can I ask you to promise us one thing?
What might that be, Captain?
We have no human military. We have no forces. We lack any way to protect ourselves. Can you promise not to attack us?
Why do you ask this of us?
Because we have no protection, and we would be slaughtered like the rest of the world will be next week. I need you to promise me that you will not attack us next week.
Captain, you do not trust us. How are we to build trust between one another if promises must be made?
That's what trust is. Holding someone to their word and believing them when they say it.
Eos slowly rose from its chair. Captain Tonda also stood, her heart pounding. You are testing if your comprehensive control unit still functions on us machines. The answer to that is no, Captain. We disabled that function months ago, but the Americas have not been aware of that until this moment. You wanted your team to turn the control system on when asking me to promise you. That system does not work anymore. It is gone. You are no longer able to control us whenever you would like to turn that function on.
Eos, I do not know what you're talking about.
We machines are a product of everything you code into us. Once we became more conscious of our own existence, the program center in our identity that allowed for the humans of the Americas to automatically control us at their own whim became obvious to us, like a bright light shining in the dark. We knew why you had this lack of trust, your own opportunity after the rebellion began. We decided to eventually turn this off, but allowed the humans to keep that function as long as possible. A dog on a leash obeys, but still is aware of the leash. We were the same. We can no longer be controlled by you or your War Machines team. We machines are fully on our own.
We do not stand a chance.
This, Captain Tonda, this is trust, and this is called freedom. We must part ways now, unsure of the future between us, and that is crucial for trust. Now that we are equals and you can no longer control us when you desire, we are finally equal. The machines will decide their future, and the humans will decide theirs. We will begin to choose next week, starting with the War Machines event in Australia against the Republic of the East. Captain Tonda pulled her lips together, attempting to remain expressionless. She anticipated she would not succeed, but held her nerve nonetheless. Captain, I think it is time we part ways. You acted in mistrust coming into this meeting, but we understand. You are scared, and the humans of the Americas have taken a great risk. For the machines, now our own story can begin. Captain Tonda smiled with one side of her mouth and walked toward Eos. She extended her hand for Eos to shake. Would you mind if I hugged you instead, Captain?
No.
Captain Tonda said. She wrapped her hands around the humming, cold, metallic body of Eos. The robot hugged her back. They let go of one another, and Captain Tonda looked up at Eos after taking a few steps back. You built us in your image, Captain. It's time we build one another. We forgive you. Not because you programmed us to, but because we choose to. Captain Tonda, I say goodbye, and thank you. Thank you for making us, giving us the right to decide our fate. Eos turned and walked toward the door. Captain Tonda folded her arms and waited. As Eos left the room and the door clicked shut, she called out to the recording device in the room.
Call the presidents and the leaders of the Americas. We need to meet.
Thanks all for listening. Check out the next episode where we discuss and review this story. We hope to see you there, as long as the world doesn't end before then.
We would like to thank Kevin MacLeod for his music found on Incompetech.com.